Good to start? Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. I am going to call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order for November 25th, 2025. The time right now is 5:30, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a few announcements. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Oh, you know what, before we do this, yeah, we have to do a roll call vote because we do have someone remote. Eric here.
Kim here. Missy here.
Carl Pike here.
Don here.
All right, thank you, Don. Financial assistance applications are available on the town's website or by calling the Selectmen's office. For anyone interested in volunteering, and Scott, we do this every meeting, we're begging people to volunteer for many vacancies. We say we have several vacancies on various committees and boards. To see a complete list of the openings, please visit our website at kingstonma.gov. Please check our website for any additional events or notices at www.kingstonma.gov. Also, townhouse hours this week were closed on Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. Actually, I do have open forum on here, so
Can I just add one quick thing?
You
for
can,
the,
please.
we heard a lot of feedback recently about concerns about budgets and taxes going up and things, and I would say this is a great opportunity for the folks who are wanting questions answered and wanting more information to volunteer for Finance Committee. So we have 3 open seats currently on Finance Committee. Join, ask questions, be a part of the process. We need volunteers, and I would always put a plug in for Finance Committee.
Thank you, agreed. I do have open forum on here, so is there anybody that wanted to speak for open forum?
Hi guys, it's Will Cushman here.
Hey, Will, go ahead.
Hello, I hope everyone's doing good today, and I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Don't forget your
And
address.
Also, I just wanted to say thank you to George Samia for all his dedication and service for the town of Kingston the past couple weeks. Thank you.
Hey,
You're still working with George for a little bit longer at least.
yeah, and Will,
We all?
So these types of things are not immediate typically. There's usually a little bit of a overlap in time from
Right.
when we find a new candidate to fill a role and when an interim steps away. So
And-
you'll still see George.
Will, can you just, for the
Okay.
record, can you just say your address for open forum?
273 Main Street, Kingston, Mass.
Thanks, Will, and
Sorry
happy
about that.
Thanksgiving.
That's what I did. Okay, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right, so our first appointment, we're going to be introducing Scott Lambiase. As Chair of the Board of Selectmen, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Scott Lambiase as the Search Committee's recommended candidate for Kingston's next town administrator. The Search Committee conducted a comprehensive and deliberate process, reviewing applications, interviewing qualified candidates, and assessing leadership experience, communication skills, and alignment with Kingston's priorities. After careful evaluation, the committee voted to recommend Scott as their unanimous choice. Scott currently serves as the town manager of Abington, where he has successfully led a balanced budgeting process, strengthened labor relations, enhanced digital communication and transparency, and revitalized key community committees. Prior to that, he served as Director of Municipal Services in Duxbury for nearly 15 years. He's also served on the Whitman Board of Selectmen and the Massachusetts Municipal Association Policy Committee on Personnel and Labor Relations. Scott brings over 18 years of municipal management experience, a collaborative leadership style, and a strong record of ethical governance and community engagement. So before we get to the board with any questions that we may have, I just want to welcome Scott to make any brief statement to the board and the public that you'd care to make.
Well, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it, and I'm honored to have gotten to this point. I think that we all have the same feelings and stresses in all of our communities, whether it's Abington, Kingston, Whitman, where I'm from, and Duxbury, that there's a lot of things going on. I think my goal ultimately is to make sure that the town is successful, that the goals and objectives of the town are met, that the goals of this board are met and carried through and successfully, and to help the departments and the department heads achieve their goals and objectives also, and making sure that they all align with one another. So I'd love to take some of the experiences that I've gained in the other communities and bring them here. I think one of the biggest things that, I feel that I heard loud and clear in the past communities was that communication out of town hall and communication to the public and finding ways to engage the community and help them understand what is going on is key and important. So I'd like to, sort of continue on with that work. And to your, to your announcement earlier, it's sort of across the board trying to find ways to get people to be involved with us and let them know that the volunteer positions are a great way to find out about what we do every day, what it means to the town. Towns like ours, they can't operate without volunteers. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it's set up. And so I've been pretty active trying to do that myself, and would love to bring that to Kingston as well.
Okay. And before I open it up to the rest of the board for any questions, I'm just going to ask one. Now, I already had a chance as part of the search committee to interview with Scott, but just one other thing that I thought I'd ask here is, and we just talked about it, trying to recruit volunteers. I mean, there've been different ideas, like maybe even having like an open house where we invite the public in to meet various boards and committees, trying to explain what we do, make it not seem so daunting, because I think a lot of people have the capability and even the desire to do it, but maybe held back. And I know I was years ago. I had to be really prodded to run for a school committee at the time.
And Selectmen.
And Selectmen, that's right. But the first time that I ran, I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought, I don't have enough to offer, and I don't think that's true. But can you think of any ways that maybe we could do a better job of trying to recruit people, whether it's open houses or other means?
Sure. The open house is a great idea. One thing that I had just started doing in Abington and that I would recommend that we do here is leverage our meetings that are already taped. And so I've been going to the beginning of the Board of Appeals meeting and introduced myself. And instead of letting the chair start the meeting, I introduced myself as the town manager, and he said, listen, I just want to tell you a little bit about what the Board of Appeals does, and to let you know and to thank these volunteers who come out and spend their time away from their family, and this is what they do. And by the way, they didn't have to know anything to come here. I made the mistake of saying they didn't need any talent, which I don't know if they took that well or not, but the thought was there. And, so we're going to stop playing those. We actually, one thing that we had made up were challenge coins that just said sort of thank you for your service, that we had handed out to retirees, and then we had so many of them that I was starting to hand them out to the boards and committees, and just to, again, it gives us an opportunity to then throw it up on Instagram or Facebook occasionally and just say, hey, we're looking for volunteers, and if you're wondering what the Conservation Commission does, this is what they do, and this is when they meet, this is how often they meet, this is the level, folks, I think the other part of it is need to know what the level of commitment is that we're asking. And if they realize that, it's a couple hours, some committees are quarterly, some are monthly, some are twice a month. And so if we can let everybody know and then let them know at town meeting, but not just saying at the beginning of town meeting, hey, we have opportunities, but to have tables set up where people can go and get some information. Beyond that, reaching out to the groups that we do have. There are outside groups that use our fields, the soccer fields, the Little League fields, and sort of let them know. They're the folks that are already somewhat engaged, so.
Yep, that is true. All right, thank you, sir. Kim, do you have anything?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Don't I always? So you mentioned you're a town manager now. So one of the questions I think that always comes to mind is, do you think it will be difficult to transition from a town manager to a town administrator?
No, not at all. I mean, 7 years I was on the select board in, when it was the Board of Selectmen there, in Whitman. We had a town administrator the whole time I was there, and I'm very clear on what the difference in the roles are. But I will also say, I involve my current board as if as much as they should be involved anyways. Probably, I don't treat it much differently. So I do understand there is that difference in the roles, but I think that communication that I have, that level of communication sort of brings them into that fold anyways. Again, like I said, the importance is to make sure you have goals and objectives, and you need them carried out, and it's my job to carry them out for you, whatever my title may be. So you have to be involved 100% in it. I don't know if
Thank
that
you.
answers.
I'm just going to go down the line. Missy, do you have anything?
How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. So one of the things that I just wanted to highlight really was, you had mentioned when we had spoken last about spotlighting department heads and kind of your idea on that, and that really, I loved the idea that you put forward on that. Could you speak to that a little bit, just so that everyone can kind of hear that?
Yeah, again, it's part of the community engagement piece is, I think most folks probably don't have any interaction other than to maybe pay a bill online or occasionally come in when something goes wrong. But otherwise, folks just really don't have to, most of them don't. So it's nice to get that information out there. So what we do is, and we call it, I have Town Manager's Corner, we have a quarterly newsletter, and then we just have a basic spotlight that also shows up on our webpage. And I will introduce say it's the DPW director, I'll say, this is John Stone, he's our DPW director. John, can you tell me a little bit about what the DPW does and what's going on around town? And we'll start off, there might be a 15-minute YouTube video that will be snippets that will be on Instagram. And again, they'll come up again on our newsletter and on our feed. And we try to do that. I've done almost all of the departments, and then we've had a change in department head, we'll do it again. We'll pick certain employees who've been around for a long time, or, within our different departments. I think within the police department, we've picked some employees for various reasons and spotlighted them. And it just, again, it puts a face to a job, to a title, to what's going on in the community.
Carl?
Good evening again.
Good to meet you again.
I believe that Abington is probably 17,000 plus people, Kingston's probably 14,000 plus. What interests you in coming to a smaller town as opposed to going to a bigger town or even a city?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. One is I started in municipal government in Duxbury, and I do really enjoy the coastal community. It's just a beautiful area. Moving to Plymouth, and I've been planning on that for quite some time, and I just prefer the area. I spend my weekends in the summer out at Saquesh Beach. It's just, the whole, the history of it I enjoy, and the coastal community is just something that attracts me.
My second area, I tend to focus on finances and budgets because of my background. I believe that the Abington budget is somewhere around 70 million. Kingston's probably around 60 million, depending how you count different things. Would you consider yourself hands-on with the budget? And how much do you depend upon the finance director or the town accountant, whatever you might call him or her?
So our finance director and town accountant is the same person.
Right.
And we work hand in hand, so when our budget season starts, and it really never ends, to be quite honest with you, him and I do work together. We put together the budget book. We meet together. We sort of have our goals that we lay out to our department heads. It's almost always level service, or, be prepared for some reductions and give us some impact statements. Then, together, we meet with the department heads. We also meet with the school department. We have meetings between the treasurer, collector, and the assessor, and the accountant and myself periodically to sort of gear up for it. And then, individually, we meet with each department one-on-one and prep them and sort of get ready for the finance committee. Once we start meeting with the finance committee, which I present the budget to the finance committee with the finance director, we just constantly work together on it. So bring the department heads in one at a time or two at a time and meet with the finance committee, review their budget again, try to get the message across of what their goals are, what their objectives are, if they have any issues, why they're having issues, things like that. But very hands-on from the beginning right up to presentation at town meeting.
And my last question is a little more specific. I actually took a look at your package for your FY '26 budget online. By the way, I thought it was very nice, excellent visibility and understandable. You had a chart in there that were budget reductions. And I assume that's from you have your preliminary budget. Now we have to get to a bottom line that we can live with and balance the budget. I noticed that there were significant reductions in police, but I believe that was because they were requesting some additional officers, and we didn't approve those. Then there was significant, probably half the reductions were at schools. How do you work with the schools to get reductions or adjustments? Our history here is, boy, the schools come in with a budget, and if it's 5% increase or 7% increase, it is difficult to get them to back off of that. And so, do you work directly with the schools, or do they understand that it's part of the process?
Yep, we meet, like I said, as long as I have been there, and we're on second superintendent there now, but the superintendents and the business managers have met with us constantly throughout the process. We have an exceptionally good working relationship, which is, like I said, I mean, from Whitman being on the select board, that wasn't really the case there, nor I don't think it is right now either. We meet constantly, we discuss it constantly, we discuss their needs.
Sure.
And they usually, we only have one district that we're dealing with. And we try to make sure that we're balancing their needs. And they've been very respectful with their requests. We try to get creative. Last year, there were some things that were, that they would like embedded in their budget that are my mind were capital items that we could take out of their budget that would help reduce it, use free cash for it. So we do try to work with them, and they have been very, very cooperative, I must say.
Your last comment gets me to a related question that I had, is I think you used like $1.8 million of free cash to balance the budget. Now, is that extraordinary?
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that's, obviously, it's something that we always say we'll never do.
Yeah.
But last year it did. It came to the point of, we were gonna walk into town meeting. We were trying to get a lot of different things done. We were trying to deal with an override that had happened 13 years ago for trash. And our trash is part of our operating budget, and so it's within the levy of $1.4 million, $1.5 million. And I wanted to switch it to a user fee. So we can no longer do this. And the townsfolk said, "Hey, look, we did an override 13 years ago. You're not taking trash out of the budget." I said, "Fine, but we're not prepared to lay off a lot of people either." So this is, and I'm open and front with that at the beginning. If you ever really want to watch something boring, watch the beginning of my town meetings for the last 5 years, and I will get up and do a quick introduction at town meeting and say, yes, we do have a balanced budget for you. This is what we did to get to that balanced budget. There's either some programming that we added or programming that we're not adding. I'll thank everybody, but I will be upfront and say, look, we have used one-time funds. and it's not a good thing, and we're just putting off what's inevitable. But that was a decision, it wasn't just made by me. Again,
I'm
it was
sure.
made by the Finance Committee, the Board of Selectmen, and myself, and, all together just saying, look, let's kick the can down one more time, because we weren't prepared to make those hard decisions.
Are your capital expenditures in the operating budget?
No, we do rely, and it's been that way since I came in, we rely on free cash for our capital, and we do want to change it, or we did, we actually did a really robust capital plan. We worked with the Collins Center to try and figure out exactly what our needs were, with the intention of hopefully rolling that in, and it just, these,
Yeah. That would-
our new growth numbers are abysmal, and we all know what's going on with state aid and Chapter 70, so.
Yeah, the only reason I ask that is if your capital is built into the operating budget, then utilizing free cash isn't quite as difficult or problematic. But we do the same thing here. We use free cash to do the capital budget, basically. So,
That and snow and ice.
yeah. Thank you. That's it, Eric.
All right. And Don, go ahead if you have any questions.
Yeah, hey, and welcome, and I apologize for not being there. I also run about 340 sports leagues as well in town, so I'm busy on my off Tuesday.
Nice to meet you.
But I just had a quick question on basically, with the financial constraints on most communities right now, and in Kingston, our staffing already running extremely tight. What types of technologies have you worked with? Would you be interested in bringing in to streamline processes, more to help our staff focus on their important tasks?
Yes, absolutely. I certainly believe in online permitting and making things make it as easy for people to do things online. I do appreciate using artificial intelligence if we can just make sure that we do it properly and in a way that is, it used to sort of help people navigate their way to a person or to a function without them sort of being bounced around. I don't anticipate, or I don't see it, I wouldn't want to replace a person with it, but like you said, to find ways to streamline, to make things easier, to make things easier for the public as well as, more efficient for the employees, absolutely.
Thank you.
I have more. That's okay.
Go ahead, Kim.
So we actually had a question from a resident that I thought I would ask. So one initiative that the town is working on is to recover Silver Lake, which is a natural resource that is important to the Gulf of Maine, town of Kingston, Jones River. It's also Whitman's water supply. So the question becomes, is this an initiative that you could help our folks work on,
So it's,
knowing it would impact your hometown?
it's not Whitman's water supply, it's Brockton's water supply.
Oh, okay. They were
We
of the
purchased-
understanding it was.
We purchased the water from Brockton.
Oh, I see.
Brockton also uses, has other sources.
Okay.
And I'm on several subcommittees that are trying to find a way to bring MWRA water down to relieve the stress on mostly Silver Lake.
Okay.
There's also, we're working, whether it would be, they have the Aquarian desalinization plant that's in Dayton, and there's a feed that comes up to Hunster Farms Peaceful Meadows that is a possible source for Whitman and for other social communities. But we're also in active discussions because the MWRA will be bringing water down to the old Weymouth Naval Air Base. And from there, we hope other communities will be able to hook up, and then that again will relieve pressure from Brockton, which would relieve pressure from Silver Lake. And actually, I was on the, it was like the Southern Plymouth County Water District Commission with a member, I think it was actually Bob Fennessy at that time, who was on it with me, and we had several other people. We had Ms. Pine Dubois, who was there constantly.
There she is.
So this is from you. So I think Pine will know that I spent a lot of time.
You might understand where the question came from.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wholeheartedly agree with their wanting to preserve the Jones River. It's an amazing resource, and, I mean, it's, when I come through here, that's one of the things that I look at and think is just, it's beautiful. I know that and I believe that, Pine's probably been as active with all the MWRA groups as you have been with that commission that I've been on. So I'm all for that. I'm all for protecting that. It not only protects Kingston and the Jones River, but like I said, the impacts that it has on the Gulf of Maine, Kingston Bay, I'm sure, all of that. It's very important to me.
Can I have one more
Go
question
ahead.
from me? What do you think is the biggest obstacle that you would face leaving Abington, coming here, and how do you think you'd overcome it?
As first, it's just, being the new guy and bridging the relationships, getting out and, gaining the trust of the community, gaining the trust of the department heads, working to find out exactly, what your goals and objectives are, the community's goals and objectives are. Hopefully, they all align, and then hopefully there's a way to, to push it forward. So I think it's really that learning curve. I mean, I really enjoy doing what I do. I've enjoyed it since, when I started in Duxbury many, many years ago I went in as a building inspector. And I just wanted to learn every little part of what was going on throughout the town and, worked with pretty much every facet of it and in the community. So, I think it's just really getting that initial, but once we get going, I think it'll be great.
Want to start tomorrow? No, just kidding.
I would love to. I wouldn't want to leave
Does he have questions for us?
anybody in the lurch.
Yeah, do you have any questions for us?
No, I think just, I think we've covered everything in past talks. I'm good.
Any other questions from anybody?
My last comment is that I, as one selectman, and I think it applies somewhat to the rest of us, I look forward to a town administrator who's not afraid to challenge the Board of Selectmen. That if he sees the Board of Selectmen, heading down a path that, could be troublesome, let them know. Bring up the differences in opinion. And in the end, the selectman's probably the boss, but I think it's imperative that we get told at times, because we're not the experts in a lot of this stuff. So that I really look forward to any town administrator that I've worked with being willing to stand up to the Board of Selectmen.
I would agree with that, and I think anytime, we hire people who are, who we're hoping are going to be the experts, so we don't know, and that's one of the things I think I encourage people to volunteer for boards and commissions, even those that are overseeing, high-level people. Like all those years in schools, we oversaw a superintendent, but I certainly was never an expert at education.
Wait, you were on school committee?
And this is a long-going
Sorry, he brings it up a
inside
lot.
joke. But certainly, we're not the experts at municipal governance either. So that's why we hire experts, fire chief, police chief, finance director, HR director, town administrator. You guys are the ones that are the experts, and we look for your guidance. We'll come up with policies, but we're going to work on those together, the group of experts. And if something's not working, we need to know, if we need to shift gears. But I think Carl's got a great point. And I think you have a group here in this Board of Selectmen. I think that everybody is very much open to suggestion and feedback. So
I'd like to say we disagree, but we don't argue, which I
not in
think
public.
is.
But we don't meet in private, so that's good.
That's true. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Anything else?
That's it for me.
All right. Would anybody like to make a motion?
Did he pronounce your name correctly? Okay.
Libiasi.
Okay. Because I just want to make sure, because I don't want to butcher it. I move the Board of Selectmen appoint Scott Lambiasi as Town Administrator contingent upon successful completion of contract negotiations, a satisfactory background check, and reference checks.
Second.
Oh, we got 2 seconds on that one.
And we need to do a roll call vote. So all those in favor, Eric, aye.
Kim, I.
Missy, I.
Kyle Pike, aye.
Don, aye.
All right, that's unanimous. Thank you, and congratulations. So now we will move forward with the contract negotiations, and we will also need to start the background check and reference checks. And I know you said you were going to bring the forms and I think your ID, so we can coordinate that with Tina or the chief. They're both here right now. And then we're going to, in a moment, we're going to adjourn to executive session just to discuss contract negotiations. And then whoever we decide upon will be reaching out to you to enter into those negotiations. But I just want to also point out, Scott, and if it's okay, we talk about your timeline. I believe you needed 4 weeks from point of notice before you would be able to come, so that's relatively quick. I think Keith's was 3 months. And
Yeah,
let
but
him
we-
out a little
yeah.
bit- We let him out early.
I think it's, yeah, it might have been 2 months, but still, it's
Right.
longer, it's longer probably than it needed to be.
Yeah, yeah. So any questions about the process at this point from either you or anybody on this board? Okay. All right. With that, I will make a motion to recess to executive session, to not return to open session for the purpose of conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, town administrator.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, Eric, aye.
Kim, I.
Missy, I.
Kyle Pike, aye.
Don, aye.
All right, and our next regular meeting is next Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 PM. And,
It is 6:02 PM for the record.
okay, perfect. Do we need to, no, we don't need to make a motion to adjourn.
Nope, you
because
just
we
did.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.